Chip Kelly is now the offensive coordinator at Ohio State. You know how we kept doing those segments where I kept saying, I don't think Chip Kelly's going to be the coach at UCLA next year. And some of you kept DMing me saying, but there's nowhere else for him to go. Oh, there's always somewhere for you to go. So this is where he went. Looking at some NFL offensive coordinator jobs. Those didn't pan out. And now he's the offensive coordinator at Ohio State. Why? Because Bill O'Brien took the head coaching job at Boston College about 15 minutes after he took the Ohio State job. So anyway, say all that to say this. A lot of folks were shocked by this. And my question is, why were you shocked by it? It's not that shocking, although it is jarring. It's not that shocking. Ryan Day played quarterback for Chip Kelly all the way back in the New Hampshire days, back in his FCS days. So, you know that we have every coach in America graded in our internal system. I cannot stress enough how much this is an upgrade for Ohio State over what they were going to have with Bill O'Brien. I know a lot of folks out there were wishy-washy on this, saying, oh, O'Brien, man, you got a former NFL head coach as your offensive coordinator. Can't be that bad, right? It's going to be bad. It was going to be bad. Oh, well, he was good enough for Nick Saban. I don't care. He wasn't good at Alabama. Bryce Young was a savior at Alabama. He wasn't going to be good at Ohio State. You went from having maybe the 9th or 10th best offensive coordinator in the Big Ten this year to having one of the 9 or 10 best in the country. It is a massive upgrade at the offensive coordinator position for Ohio State. Make no mistake about that. This isn't a coin flip, either or, half a dozen here, 6 the other way. Massive upgrade just fell in Ohio State's lap. So I don't even care if people internally up there don't agree with me. Huge upgrade with Chip Kelly. So as for the way it played out at UCLA, both sides soured on each other. I don't think it was portrayed accurately nationally. The feel nationally was Chip Kelly's just looking to get out of there by any means necessary. In the end, he was. I don't think that was always the way it was. I think there were several dynamics internally where he wasn't necessarily in love with some things, and therefore they weren't in love with him because of those things, and it became untenable, and at that point, he wants out, and I think that's the way it went. And however it went, it ended up the way it ended up. But, ironically, I'm not even as infatuated with the move or fascinated with the move as I am the reaction to it. I think it's a great move. It's a phenomenal move for Ryan Day and Ohio State. But, man, I listened to an abnormal amount of people, actually. I normally like to insulate myself from a lot of other takes on this stuff before I talk about it because I don't want to be influenced by it. I can assure you a lot of the takes out there didn't influence me because I don't think I feel the way a bunch of other folks do. I saw some people kind of making fun of the way this played out, and they're saying, well, he's taking a big pay cut. Well, yeah, he is. Big pay cut. Well, isn't it a demotion? Isn't it a backwards move? Theoretically, it is. But how does he feel? Chip Kelly's set financially. 9 ways from Sunday. He's going to be okay. I can promise you, doesn't need to carpool with anyone, will not need to borrow one of the coach's dining hall cards. He's going to be okay there. He gets to coach, which apparently is all he wanted to do. How dare they? How dare they just want to coach? You know what? I say that sarcastically, but it is the role of a head coach. This day and age in this sport, in exchange for what you make, you got to deal with a lot of crap on your plate. And if you don't want to deal with it, that's okay. There are roles for you. They're called coordinator and position roles. And that's not to say you don't have a metric ton of crap on your plate when you do that as well, but at least they don't unload it by the truckload like they do when you're a head coach. So he's extremely valuable as an asset to Ohio State here. He gets to coach. He's set financially. He's not going to be hurting because he takes a pay cut, but he hasn't had talent like he's about to have since he was the Philadelphia Eagles head coach. And the difference is he's not facing equal competition across the ball every week like he was in Philadelphia. This is like a dream scenario for him. I don't know how long it lasts, maybe 1 year, maybe 4 years, but however long it does last, I think it's going to be a real fun reset button for Chip Kelly. I want to talk to the folks laughing at the entire situation and laughing at the optics. Like, I heard a lot of folks laughing at Chip Kelly saying, oh, look at him. He tried to go here, he tried to go there, and he was almost out of options, and he got lucky. Translation, he must not be as good as he thinks he is. Hey, I couldn't care less. I mean, this is the way I look at it. I couldn't care less what anyone on the internet thinks about it, and I don't even care what other people in football think about it. And I'm going to tell you why. Because number one, it only takes one right program to believe in you for you to be in your sweet spot. And number two, you guys ever heard of Steve Sarkisian? Steve Sarkisian, 2016 or 17, post USC. Who was giving that dude a look? How many options did Sark have? None. He had to go be an off-field analyst for Nick Saban at Alabama. Nick Saban at Alabama being the key word there. Next thing you know, he's an offensive coordinator in the NFL, and it doesn't work out there. And what does he do then? He goes back to Alabama. Again, one of the only options he had on the table, and all Sark did was rewrite the college football record books a year after we saw Joe Burrow and LSU do it. Sark says, all right, and then copy-paste in 2020 for Alabama. And my point there is, when they were hanging half 100 on everyone in 2020, nobody seemed to be looking around saying, yeah, but Sark barely had any opportunities. It didn't matter. One of the best in the game saw him and said, hold up, no one else is going to hire this guy? I'll take him. Ryan Day looks around and says, Chip Kelly? No, well, hold on. You guys don't want Chip Kelly? I'll take him, which is the way, Colin, if you see this brand right here, this brand Pate State, that's how I'd run my university and my program. Y'all don't want who? Chip Kelly. You sure it's the same guy? Chip Kelly is out there available, not to be my head coach, to be my coordinator. And you guys are laughing at him. I'm laughing at you. So Ohio State, I think, will do a lot of laughing in the fall after they hired the guy that you had fun laughing at in the winter. They'll kill it. He'll kill it at Ohio State. So it's the most coaching moves in the market in like 12 years. We had a ton of movement. It looks, fingers crossed, it looks like it's subsided now. But one of the bombshells, it turns out, does not even happen until February. Chip Kelly is the offensive coordinator at Ohio State. I'm just looking off into the distance for a second, trying to ponder what this is like. Whomst knows? Maybe we'll stop by Columbus later this spring and see him.